What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon MLB DFS video. It is Tuesday. It is April 30th. It is the last day of April, and we are back with another video. If you're new to the channel, we have giveaways every single day, and we do things a little bit differently. We're going to go in depth into every single game, pitchers and bats. If you're one that needs, just a handful of plays at each position, that is in the article down below. In the description of this video is today's article, which you can check out right here. So go check it out. We've got multiple pitchers that we like and about 5 plays at each position, and then the outfield a little bit more. So it's just a little bit from our cheat sheet, but it is part of the content. It is there. In the description also is our link to our Discord. So go get in there, check it out. Check out our core plays that we post every day. Go get into the discussions. If you win using our content, let us know. Put them in the winning lineups. Anyone who uses our avatar as your avatar on Fanduel or DraftKings, and you take down a tournament of at least 1,000 players, you take down first place, post us the proof, and we will give you a free month of FTA+. The 2 giveaways we have: like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment on this video. If the video gets 50 likes, you'll have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. That's a week of every sport we have. 100 likes is a chance to win a free month. 150 likes is a chance to win a $200 free year. And 200 or more likes on a video, a chance to win a lifetime pass. It's been a minute since we've given away a lifetime pass, so definitely go check that out. Everything's on the website, FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, but we are here for you. Second way to win: like the video, be a subscriber. Tell me who is going to hit a home run and what inning are they going to hit it in. You get both of those correct, send me a screenshot of your comment to dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we will get you set up for a free week of FTA+. 1 pick per person, so make it count. And you can win every single day. So we are going to see who the winner of yesterday's content is right here, randomized. Good luck to everyone. Let's see who the winner is, and you can win every day, like I said. The winner is BK Nix. Ryan O'Hearn, 410-foot, 3rd inning. That was the comment from yesterday. Congratulations. If you see this, like it, then email me dfshelp1@gmail.com with a username and email you would like on the website. Or if you already have one, let us know the username. So congratulations again, BK Nix. You can win every single day until you win a lifetime pass. And then obviously you can't win any more than a lifetime pass. So that being said, we're going to dig in a little bit. We've got 2 slates. We've got an early slate of 3 games. We got a main slate of the rest of the game. So we're going to cover it all. We're going to look at them. We're going to look at the pitchers. We're going to look at the bats. We're going to look at it all. So at the end of the video, we're going to give you our top 20 top 20 bats after 10,000 simulations. So we do 20,000 simulations a day. Simulations go here under simulations, along with everything else on the website. So if you've got questions, comments, concerns, get those down below. But we're going to give you the top 20 bats after that, and we're going to give you some of our stacks that we like as well. So that being said, let's buckle up and go. I try to make these videos a little bit shorter than what I can, but sometimes you just got to go with what you got to go with. So that being said, first game on the slate for this is the Yankees at Baltimore. We got Nestor Cortes versus Dean Kramer. Cortes has had success in the past. Kramer also has had success in the past. We never know what we're going to get, which Nestor we're going to get. So we look at this. Nestor Cortes is actually the second highest priced pitcher on this slate. 3.50 ERA, 32 strikeouts, coming off of a mediocre start against Oakland. Gave up 3 earned runs there, 2 home runs, 94 pitches. He just didn't get any run support in that one. Had he gotten normal run support, he went 7 innings. That was one of the games the Yankees lost to Oakland. Yankees have been hitting better since then. Great weekend overall. A lot of runs put up since this game. If we could get 7 innings out of him, obviously we would love that. Again, he's had 3 games of 7 or more innings, and then 1 game that wasn't too good against Cleveland. We look at that and we see certain things. 3.50 ERA is great. Strikeouts, he only had 4 strikeouts against Oakland, but we saw 9 against Tampa Bay. Sorry about that. My dogs like to bark at everything. Depending, he's had 2 really good starts. 8 innings against Miami, 7 innings against Tampa Bay, 30-plus fantasy points in there. Again, he's facing Baltimore. They're a fantastic hitting team. Tournaments, I'm okay with Cortes. I do not trust him in cash against this Baltimore team. Let him surprise me. I will have exposure, but only in tournaments. Then we look at Dean Kramer. 4.61 ERA. It's kind of elevated. Only 27 strikeouts. A really good game against LA. Not really against Kansas City. A bad game against Milwaukee. A good game against Pittsburgh. And an okay game against Kansas City. So, looking at his splits, 2 home games. Got an 8.68 ERA. Again, it's only 2 home games. When the Yankees are hitting well, they're on fire. Verdugo, who was heating up, is now on the paternity list, so he is out. I think it's a minimum. I think it's 3 or 4 games. I cannot remember if there is an actual minimum or not. So, one of their lefty bats are out of there. So, we got Judge in left field on Monday, Grisham in center, and Soto in right. I think it's probably going to be about the same thing here. Bats-wise in this game, we just kind of look at this. So, yeah, Soto, Judge, Stanton are the ones that are heating up. Volpe has slowed down a little bit, but he's still on fire. Gleyber Torres has turned it on. Trent Grisham, a lefty there. I do not mind him. Anthony Rizzo just won Player of the Week for last week. He's been on fire. There's a lot to like about this Yankees offense. I am stacking the Yankees. I will have a little bit of exposure to stacking Baltimore too because I don't know if I trust Nestor 100%. So Gunnar Henderson, it's a lefty on lefty. I don't think that really matters. You got Ryan O'Hearn against the lefty. Adley is a switch hitter. Ryan Mountcastle hits lefties well. Colton Cowser, Ryan O'Hearn. There's a ton of options here. So I will have exposure to both sides here. I'll have a little bit of exposure to Cortez. I don't know if I have Dean Kramer yet, maybe in tournaments, but neither of these pitchers are a cash option for me. The next one is St. Louis versus Detroit, but Monday's game got postponed. So we don't know which pitcher's actually going to go. We don't know if it's actually going to be Flaherty and Gibson or if they're going to switch it up for this game. So I could see this being a problem. So we're going to skip this game right now. If any of these jump out, honestly, I would use a little bit of Jack Flaherty if this is going to be the game here. I'm not 100% sure how they're going to switch the pitchers up for this game. And I do not want you guys to be screwed. And on top of that, when it's a doubleheader, the bats you use do not get screwed over because it might be changed up a little bit. And people that hit in game 1 might not play game 2. So we're going to skip that one as of now. If anything jumps out, we will obviously put that in the cheat sheet and stuff like that. Then we got Colorado versus Miami is the next game. Ryan Feltner versus to be announced. According to this, they think it's Rod. They think, yeah, it could be him. He got up and then sent down after a doubleheader. 5 innings there, 2 earned runs. If it is him, he's a cheap op. Or no, actually, they bumped him up to 7,500. He was a great cheap option at 4,000, especially against Colorado. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with because Colorado's not that good, but I don't know what to expect here. Feltner. We can look at Feltner here. Just kind of looking at him. 6,400, cheap. 5.68 ERA. Does have 30 strikeouts, but it's given up a ton of hits in the games, which are minus fantasy points. Has 3 of his 5 starts have been terrible. He's had 1 good start against Tampa Bay. It's hard to trust him there. Probably go with the bats in this game. So probably look at bats on both sides. The bats for the Rockies, Ryan McMahon would be the top one. Nolan Jones would be there. Montero would be there. Tovar could be there. Those are ones that kind of jump out now. Flip side of that, Marlins bats. You got Sanchez. You've got Josh Bell, switch hitter, Jazz. Always got to get some Jazz in there. Brian De La Cruz, but a couple of cheap options here would be Nick Fortes or Otto Lopez. Both of those are very cheap options. Building lineups here. I do not mind either of those. So, again, I don't know how much if I'll play this early slate at all, just because it might not be Flaherty now. Cortez is up there, and he's very volatile. We don't know which one we're going to get. Don't know if it's Gibson. Don't know if it's Munez. Dean Kramer and Feltner are there too. So that's kind of the breakdown of the early games. Not in love with the early slate, but we still have a massive main slate here. So we got the Royals at the Blue Jays. Got Cole Reagans versus Jose Barrios, and I believe they just faced each other. Right? Barrios here just faced Kansas City. Only got 8.2 fantasy points. Only went 5 innings, the lowest amount of innings he's gone. Only went 67 innings. Gave up 2 earned runs, which was a home run against Salvador Perez. I don't know why they pulled him. Oh, okay. This was the game where it was pulled due to rain. So this is one where it rained and then it got called. So still his great numbers, 1.23 ERA, 28 strikeouts, rain cut short day, but that's not against him. There's nothing you could do about that. But if we paid up, we did pay up for him a little bit in one of our lineups. 8.2 is not enough at 9,400. They've dropped him to 8,900. I still like this. Would like it in Kansas City a little bit better, but I could still take that. Then you got Cole Reagans that's down here at 7,800. He last pitched against Toronto, 5 innings there, 4 strikeouts, 20.2. Baltimore gave up 7 earned runs in 1.2 innings, minus 7.7. A great game against the Mets. Been up and down, does have an elevated ERA, but he faced them in that same game. 20.2, so he had a really good game there. Was going really well. Got the dub because he went 5 innings there. So we don't know what would have been had he not gotten rained out. But I would take him as well. I mean, you're saving money too. I think this could be a low-scoring game. He had success against Toronto last time. It was more of a pitcher's park than now. But I like both of these pitchers here. At the moment, I don't really want to look at the bats. I'd rather just focus on pitching in this game. I think we could see mirrored from last week. Just weather is not going to be a concern here. Cubs at the Mets is next. Javier Assad versus Sean Manaea. Assad is 8,400. He's got a 2 ERA. You know, you're looking right around. He's averaging 18.4 fantasy points, which is pretty much where we need him to be at Pitcher's Park. This is a fantastic Pitcher's Park. He's only faced some 17 plate appearances, so basically 1 start. .067 batting average against him. 23.5 K percentage. Love those numbers there. Manaea, on the other hand, going up against this Cubs team. Where's he at? There he is. 8,000. 3.33 ERA. Has not faced the Cubs this year. Mixed results. I mean, he's had some really good games. First game against Detroit was great. No earned runs after 6 innings, but then the bullpen gave it up. Against Cincy, 21.1. Against Kansas City, -3. LA, 9.1. And then San Francisco, 17.7. So the Cubs have been hitting very well this year, for the most part. So we look at those bats. Tournament-wise, I think both of these pitchers are tournament options because this is a great pitcher's park at Citi Field. But if you want to take bats against them, we could look at those bats. The bats for the Cubs, you could look at Chris Morel, Michael Busch, Pete Crow Armstrong, Dansby Swanson. Mike Tauchman would be a very cheap option there. Be a lefty-on-lefty matchup, though. If you don't think Assad's going to do much and you want to look at Mets bats, Brandon Nimmo. Cheap catching option for today would be Tomas Nido. Don't know if he'll be in there, but he is an option. Actually, I have one of his, I think, autographed rookie cards. So if he could go off, that would be awesome. Tyrone Taylor, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, like these guys, I'm okay with. I just kind of like Assad a little bit more than. I think Assad's more of a cash or tournament. I think Manaea might just only be a tournament option here, but it is a fantastic pitcher's venue here at Citi Field for this one. Next one, Giants at the Red Sox. Logan Webb versus Cooper Criswell. Webb, 39 plate appearances, 158. Criswell, 3 plate appearances. So he hasn't seen them at all. Logan Webb does have he's brought his ERA down. But you can see, start off the season giving up 5 earned runs against the Dodgers, 2 against San Diego, but he's going 7+ innings in his last 4 starts. The Ks have been lower for some reason. Coming off 3 really good starts in a row against the Mets, a feisty Arizona team, and a lackluster Tampa Bay team. Now he's facing Boston. I know Boston put up a ton of runs against the Cubs and then walked it off on Sunday night. But we look at this. I don't mind Logan Webb. The strikeouts are low. That's what scares me a little bit. And it's in Fenway. I would love it if it was in San Francisco more, but I would rather look at Logan Webb, and I would rather look at the Giants bats here against Criswell. So we look at Cooper Criswell. You never know what you're going to get out of him. Sometimes he's starting, sometimes he's not. 2.38 ERA. He's had really good start against Cleveland, and then 2 bad outings. 2.1 innings there, 4 innings. He's not going deep into games. That's what I'm trying to say. So we could take advantage of some of these bats here. Patrick Bailey, would love Patrick Bailey here. He's hitting the crap out of the ball. Matt Chapman, Jung-Ho Lee, Lamont Wade Jr., Michael Conforto, if he could just poke the ball out over that green monster, those are great options. Jorge Soler, usually like to use him more against lefties, but I'll take him here against Criswell. So there's really a lot to like here for a San Francisco stack. If you think Logan Webb's not going to do well and he's going to go back to what he did the first couple of starts, Devers, O'Neill, Wilyer Abreu, those are ones. Jarren Duran, those are ones. I would say Yoshida, but for whatever reason, they're not playing him like every day, which is weird. I don't understand that. Rafaela would be a very, very cheap option as well if you go that route. Twins at the White Sox, Simeon Woods Richardson versus Michael Soroka. So we used Woods Richardson his last start, which was against this White Sox team. 14.5 fantasy points at 4,000. That's why we loved him. He was a very cheap option. He's now 7,000, which is not expensive. He's gone 6 innings once and 5 innings the other, which is great. His pitches, 80 and 94. So we know that he's up there in pitch count. We know he's going to pitch. He's got a great matchup here at Chicago if the weather holds out. Would love if his price was a little bit lower, but Woods Richardson for tournaments, I'm okay with that. I do not mind that because, as you know, the White Sox are historically bad. The problem, hopefully he can go more than 5 innings. Bats, like Soroka, which Soroka, like I remember when Soroka was a huge deal on the Braves, then got hurt. He's 5,800. Game log wise, has 6.83 ERA. This screams look at Minnesota bats here. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little gander at the Minnesota bats in this game. Byron Buxton makes sense here. Kirilloff makes sense. Santana's a switch hitter I could look at a little bit. Max Kepler, I don't mind. Ryan Jeffers, I like more against lefties, but if he's in there, we could look at that. Is Correa back? Correa is back. Oh, okay. They reinstated him yesterday. So that makes sense. Reinstated on Monday. I don't know if he's going to have any rust or anything, but a definite twin stack here with Woods Richardson here a little bit. I don't mind at all. Moving to Tampa Bay versus Milwaukee. Do they know who's pitching for Tampa Bay? Let's see. Maybe Alexander. Pitched last Wednesday, so it would make sense for him to pitch here. He's not going deep into games. I'd rather take Milwaukee bats. I'd rather take Freddie Peralta. Freddie Peralta is the most expensive pitcher on this slate, but Tampa Bay has been a very bad team all year long. So looking at bats that make sense. In this game here against, if it is Alexander, William Contreras would be my number one. Gary Sanchez would be a cheap option if maybe he's DHing. I don't mind him. Rhys Hoskins against a lefty is almost automatic. Same with Willy Adames. So I will be all over a Milwaukee stack of some sort. I do not trust Tampa Bay this year. Their bats have been cold. Their pitching has been bad. They're not, I don't understand, but I'm very happy to see Tampa Bay not doing very well. Can I be wrong? Can Tampa Bay dominate? They can, but I will be paying for Peralta, and I will be looking at Milwaukee bats over Tampa Bay and any pitcher that Tampa Bay throws out there today. Next game, the Nationals at the Rangers. You got Mackenzie Gore versus John Gray. Gore's 3 plate appearances, so not much. John Gray, 33 plate appearances, 179. So a start and a half out of him basically is what the total equals out to. So we look at this, okay? Mackenzie Gore, we used him his last start against the Dodgers and actually worked out because he was very low owned. He was 8,100, went 6 innings in that game, only gave up 1 earned run, lost 2-1. They could not give him any run support. The strikeouts were a little bit lower. He's got back-to-back games with only 4 strikeouts. Tournaments I'm okay with, but we still know that Texas is a really good hitting team. John Gray, on the other hand, going up against Washington, which is a bad team. He had a great start against Seattle, a fantastic start against both Detroit and Oakland, mediocre starts everywhere else. Tournament-wise, I'm okay with John Gray. 7,300, middle of the road, SP2, I'm completely okay with that. If I were to look at bats, I would probably focus on Texas bats more than Washington. the Texas bats that would make sense. Adolis Garcia against a lefty always makes sense. Seager hits lefties and righties well. Jonah Heim, I believe, is a switch hitter. That is good. Marcus Semien against the lefty I'm okay with. Wyatt Langford I'm also okay with. Comes down to, is it going to be Jonah Heim or is it going to be Andrew Kisner? I'm okay with Kisner as well. Depends on the catcher that comes out of there, but there are a ton of great options for Texas. So I'm looking at a Texas stack here against Mackenzie Gore. I know he had success against the Dodgers, but I think people are going to be on him more, and I want to get exposure on the other side and stack against him here. And I'll take John Gray, probably in tournaments only, but I don't mind him either or. Guardians at the Astros, you got Carlos Carrasco versus Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown has been bad. Bad. Like super bad, and not in the good movie way. Hunter Brown has a 9.68 ERA, and they are still throwing him out there because Houston has nobody else. It's wild that they do not have a better pitcher in AAA or AA that could come up and pitch better than a 9.68. I mean, 9 earned runs against Kansas City in .2 innings is going to bump it up. He's been better since that game. Against Washington, only went 4 innings, though, gave up 3 earned runs. Against Atlanta, 6 innings, 2 earned runs. The strikeouts are low. He did have 6 strikeouts against Washington. You're supposed to have those against Washington. They still lost that game 6-0. Okay? Houston's offense has not been giving him run support. He's 6,800 still. I don't know how you have a 9.68 ERA pitcher at 6,800 when you could. I don't know how that's possible. I want nothing to do with him. We know that Cleveland has been hitting very well. Carrasco's at a 4.63 in his career, 281 batting average and 141 plate appearances. We know that Cleveland, they're a really good team. I'm probably not taking either pitcher. I'd rather focus on the bats on both sides. If I'm taking Cleveland bats, it's 100% Josh Naylor. It's Jose Ramirez. It's Andres Jimenez. It's Bo Naylor. If I'm looking at Astros bats here against Carrasco, Tucker, Yordan, Altuve, Yanir Diaz, those are the ones that I would look at. So in this game, I don't want the pitchers at all. I'd rather focus on the bats on both sides. I lean more towards Cleveland bats because Hunter Brown's been terrible this year, and the Astros have really struggled. Overall, they've really struggled. Tournament-wise, you could throw Carrasco in there, but I probably won't have any exposure to him, to be completely honest. The Phillies versus the Angels, Spencer Turnbull versus Tyler Anderson. 18 plate appearances for Turnbull, 79 plate appearances, 375 for Anderson. Not a ton there. There's not a ton that I like about this one, pitching-wise. Anderson, 7,600, got a 1.78 ERA, so really good, actually. But then you see 15.9, 14.2. You would love to see more of the 22 and 26 like he did to start the season. Now he's pitching at home. His splits at home, again, it's low, but 1.50 ERA at home, so not bad. But Philly can hit. That's the problem. And then the flip side of that, Spencer Turnbull's up here towards the top. Angels, he good game against Cincy, really good game against Chicago White Sox, not a good game against Pittsburgh, and 2 other good games. He's been pretty dominant all season. Outside of Ohapi, Miguel Sano, Taylor Ward, and Mike Trout, the Angels are bad. I'm probably looking at Turnbull, and I'm looking at Philly bats here. Trey Turner against Alexander, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Bryce Harper. I would take them as a stack for tournaments. I'd also take Alexander for a tournament stack because he has been so good this year. Or Tyler Anderson. So Anderson for tournaments, I'm okay with at 7,600. I do not trust him in cash whatsoever. Then we got the Dodgers at the Diamondbacks. You got Landon Knack versus Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery, in his career, 97 plate appearances, 200 batting average. We know that Montgomery signed very, very late. Still up here in price. 2.77 ERA. A good start against San Francisco. An okay start against St. Louis. His old team did give up 3 earned runs, but pitched 7 innings. So unlike Blake Snell, he signed later than Snell, and he's been better. He's actually not hurt right now, but he's going up against the Dodgers. He has had success against them. I do not think I trust him enough in cash. Tournaments, I could see you being okay with tournaments with Montgomery. But I would still rather look at taking Dodgers bats. I don't think that's a surprise. Mookie Betts at the top. Teoscar Hernandez, generally love to take Hernandez against lefty pitchers. That's a big one I would look at. Max Muncy, Freddie Freeman, I don't mind them. Depends on the other, cheaper Dodgers bats would be Will Smith against a lefty, or you could take a little bit of look at Kike Hernandez if he's going to be in there, or Andy Pages. Is Andy Pages still up, or do they send him down? I think he's still up. Yeah, he's still up. Yeah, I mean, he does have 0 walks to 9 strikeouts, so very small. Not getting a ton of games in. Actually, you know what? He has. He's played every single game for them. He's had positive fantasy points. At 3,300, he's a cheap option too. Cheap outfield option in part of your Dodger stack. If it's going to be kind of hard to get both Mookie and Freddie Freeman, you could go Mookie and Pages, or you could find a way to get a Dodger stack here for sure. Then we got the Pirates at Athletics. You got Mitch Keller versus Alex Wood. Keller, 20 plate appearances, 250 batting average. You got Alex Wood, 120 plate appearances, 343. Without having looked at this, I'm guessing McCutcheon's probably at the top of this list against him. McCutcheon's got 41 plate appearances, 7 for 37, 2 doubles and a home run, but does have 10 strikeouts. Connor Joe, we usually love to take Connor Joe against a lefty, 7 for 15 with a home run. Michael A. Taylor against a lefty, 8 for 18 with 2 doubles and a home run. Cabrian Hayes against a lefty, 5 for 9 with 2 doubles and a triple. I already loved a Pirate stack, but I do love a Pirate stack. All the righty bats for them. I'm going to take some exposure. You got Mitch Keller against Oakland. In Oakland, a pitcher's park. Does have an elevated 5.14 ERA is the problem. Strikeouts are not a problem. They're there. 7.4495. He's had one really good start against Detroit. The one game, that's what's funny. The one game that I stacked against Mitch Keller was his best game of the year. And I came back and I admitted we were wrong. I will admit when we're wrong. He has Oakland has been hitting, oddly enough, they've been hitting well. Tournament-wise, an Oakland stack, okay, but I'm rather focused on Mitch Keller against Oakland in Oakland. So I will have some exposure to Mitch Keller at 8,800. And the Pirates, the righty bats that I said. You definitely look at those Pirates bats. Should be in store for a good game against Alex Wood. Then you got Nick Martinez at the Padres. This is a pitcher's park. Do they have a pitcher for San Diego? They think it's going to be Johnny Brito. We know he came over from the Yankees in the Juan Soto trade, 4.40 ERA. Game logs, he's an opener basically. Like, he's not going deep into games. He's not doing anything. If it is, in fact, him, I'm all over Cincinnati. I'd rather take Cincinnati bats in this one anyway. So we could look at this. Ellie De La Cruz, Tyler Stevenson, usually like to use him more against lefties, but he's in there. Spencer Steer, Will Benson, Encarnacion Strand. These guys are ones. Cheaper ones would be Stuart Fairchild or Nick Martini, depending. But Nick Martinez as the pitcher. I mean, you could look at this. Is he not on there? There he is. He's 6,400. He's cheap. Does have a 5.48 ERA, though. Hasn't done much at all. Would rather take the bats here. Would rather be taking the Tatis, Cronenworth, Machado, Profar, Jackson Merrill. Cheaper options if he starts. Rosario there. Ha-Seong Kim would be another one. So I'm avoiding the pitchers in this one. I'm looking at the bats. I'm more focused on Cincinnati bats, but I don't put it past you for San Diego bats. They're okay too. Then the final game, you got Atlanta Braves versus Seattle Mariners. You got Reynaldo Lopez versus Luis Castillo. Lopez, 51 plate appearances, 231. Castillo, 101 plate appearances, 289. We know that Castillo started off the season very negative, but he's come on strong. Reynaldo Lopez is the second highest priced pitcher. He somehow has a .72 ERA. We took him his last start against Miami. 7 innings, 6 Ks. I don't know what clicked for him, but Atlanta just turns out studs somehow. Lopez has gone deep into games. Seattle has looked weaker than normal this season. He's got a .72 ERA. The strikeouts are a little bit lower, though. 24 strikeout. Well, they're not bad for 4 starts, to be honest with you. He's had one bad start, which was against his former team, the first start of the year for him. He's been on fire. He's gotten a lot of ground balls. The strikeouts are there. The walks have been limited. The earned runs have been limited. 2 earned runs is wild. A lot of people are going to be on Reynaldo Lopez, though, at that price. And then you got Luis Castillo. 8,600, 4.15 ERA. He's had, he started off bad. Cleveland gave up 4 earned runs. Toronto gave up 4 earned runs. The Cubs gave up 2. But he's had 3 great starts here. He's cheaper. I think he'll be under-owned because he's going up against Atlanta. There have been times this year that Atlanta games have not been high scoring, or we would have thought they would have been higher, and they weren't. I don't mind. I don't think I trust Castillo in cash enough. I think it's a tournament-only play because, again, this is Atlanta. They are a fantastic hitting team when they're on, and this could be one of those nights that they are on. But don't forget, they traveled literally across the entire country to play this game. The time difference, I believe, is 3-hour difference. I don't know if that's going to affect them because, they fly in, they play games. It's just coming over from the West Coast, the East Coast to the West Coast. The time is a difference there. I don't know how fast these guys, because when the game starts here it's 9:40, it's 2 to 3 hours later in their body than what they're used to when they're on the East Coast. That is just one of those other factors that people don't think about. So that is one to think about. Castillo for cash, or for tournaments. Reynaldo Lopez for cash. Bats-wise right now, none jump out to me. But we will see right now with the simulation. So that is the breakdown of all the games. Those are the pitchers. Those are the bats. If you want to see even more of a breakdown and ones we like out of all of those, click the link in the description. That is the article for today. But we're going to give you the top 20 bats through 10,000 simulations. We're going to bring that back, and we're going to do some stacks as well. So, number 1 right now, Shohei Ohtani against Jordan Montgomery. Number 2 is Mookie Betts versus Montgomery. 3 is Juan Soto. 4 is Kyle Tucker. 5 is Freddie Freeman. 6 is Jose Altuve. 7 is Jose Ramirez. 8 is Stephen Kwan. 9, Vlad Guerrero Jr. 10 is Bryce Harper. 11 is Brandon Nimmo. 12 is Alex Bregman. 13, James Outman. 14, Bobby Witt Jr. 15, Yordan Alvarez. 16, Max Muncy. 17, Riley Green. Don't get screwed over by the doubleheader, though. 18, Ryan Jeffers. 19, Max Kepler. And number 20 is Yonder Diaz against Carlos Carrasco. So out of the top 20, you've got 5, over half of the Astros stack. So we got that. The Dodgers is the second stack that we like. I do love the Dodgers against Montgomery. I think the breaks do come off of there. The third stack, my overall number 1 stack for the day, I think, is going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates, all the righties that we talked about. Brian Hayes, McCutchen, Connor Joe. These guys are ones that I want to take exposure against Alex Wood. That's my number 1. Number 2, I think, is going to be the Dodgers. And number 3 is going to be the Astros. It just depends which Astros team we're going to get. They've been looking bad. I think you can interchange the Astros with maybe the Yankees against Dean Kramer. If you want to flip-flop some of those, I think that could be one of the things you could do here. There's just a lot of other ones you could do. Speaking of, this is yesterday's, but this is what we have on the cheat sheet. This is just part of it. So on our cheat sheet here, we have each position, plays at each position, 5 to 7 at each position, 6 to 14, 12 to 14 for outfield, and these are all cash. These are all tournament options, and then these are stacks. So all of the stacks and rank in order from 1 to 10 that we like against the opposing pitcher. So these are on there. We've got the weather on there. We do have some lineups there as well. They are starting points, not an end-all, be-all, not a copy-paste type thing. So we've got that. We've got home run picks. We've got a lot going on. So if you have questions, get those down below. please go check out our Discord if you want to help out the channel, liking the videos, leaving a comment. That all helps us out as well. So that's what I've got. Good luck on this slate. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.